like we're on Kite Hill. This is where we are right now, is Kite Hill over on Avenue 37.
Go ahead.
Captain Alva, can you introduce yourself and tell us where we are?
Hi, my name is Steve Alva. I'm a fire captain with Fire Station 44 down here on Cypress Avenue, in which we serve the majority of the Mount Washington area.
What are the biggest challenges that the fire department faces here in Mount Washington in particular?
Well, the Mount Washington area is pretty unique. It's one of the more unique areas of the city. We face a lot of access and egress problems. We face hillside homes. We face mudslide issues. We face a lot of different emergencies that you might not have to deal with, say, in the lower areas, the flatlands or the basins. So it really it changes our training plan. It changes the way we operate and whatnot. And it's the responsibility is on us to become the experts in those areas and share our information.
Great, and that's what we're going to do here today, hopefully.
This is a location known to a lot of the locals, but we did have an incident here in July of last year that we had what was most likely a firework type incident. Started a fire down just below these dead bushes here, and it worked its way all the way up to these homes, in which these homes had potential to be severely impacted, along with evacuation and whatnot. So we were fortunate enough, though, we had our air support that was dispatched right away, and they were able to do water drops for us, so we were able to stop it just below the homes, and it didn't affect them. So.
Like when you come up on the hill, or when you're coming to the community here, your main thoroughfares from your Cypress station to come up here, where you mentioned Tacoma, and what are the other routes that you take?
Absolutely. My primary concern for us, anything on Mount Washington area, is always going to be access. That's our number one problem up here. It's always going to be the parking and potential vehicles come in the opposite direction. We can get up here relatively quickly, but we've had incidents just 2 weeks ago where we overcame 4 different challenges trying to get up here with illegally parked cars or people that came down to us that were what we would call nose to nose. They came down, we were coming up, they were coming down, and they had to back up like a good 100 yards in reverse trying to navigate, and so that takes time, obviously,
what
to do
streets
that.
did come to mind on that?
Oh, Glen Albin there.
Glen Albin,
yeah, all along there. And really just our egress points. I'm sure Cap told you, Tacoma, Roseview. A lot of times I'll go up Figueroa and go off into Marmion and Avenue 42 and come in from the top and come down that way, all those. So if there's red paint, it really behooves people who live up here on the mountain, and then also us as first responders to be able to get up here. So yeah, if people are parking in the red, especially on red flag days, that's really bad. Parking on both sides, it can be really tough. And then also people need to be very cognizant of, a lot of times they're parked where they are allowed to be parked, but they're parked into the street, especially if they have larger cars. I just can't get by. So we'll have to stop, knock on doors, tell people to move, and that delays us 5-10 minutes.
We talked about, sort of how to get along with your neighbor challenge. So I feel that I've, done my clearance right, but I look at my neighbor and I'm like, ugh, that doesn't look good. How should I manage that?
So in a situation where you've provided your due diligence, right, because we have a shared responsibility, the firefighters, the fire department, and the residents of a community like this. It's a unique community, and there's really no way for the fire department to be able to make this completely safe on our own. It's what we call a shared responsibility. Safety is all of our concern. If you as a homeowner have done what you feel is your due diligence, and you still have a problem, or you might want to report a hazard or something that you think might affect you or another homeowner in the area, you would want to go to LAFD.org, go to that website. On there, it's not only going to show you what you should do for your due diligence, what we recommend you doing, but it also provides you a way of reporting a hazard. So there's a tab on there that you click on and you can report a hazard. It's going to go straight to our Fire Prevention Bureau. It's going to flag someone that's going to come out and take a look at the hazard and potentially get it fixed for you.
So you have with regard to specifically fires. Hello, who was that? Wow, a couple of hawks having a conversation above Kite Hill here. On the website, there's a really terrific couple of short videos that sort of give you some guidance, a checklist for emergency and evacuation and preparing your house. But I thought I'd also just talk to you a little bit about sort of what you recommend in the way of evacuation plans from this community.
So the first thing, the primary thing when it comes to evacuations is be prepared for it. Know what you're going to grab. On LAFD.org, they call it the P's. You can grab your pictures and your prescriptions and all that kind of stuff. So have a plan, know what you're going to grab, make sure you have fuel in your vehicle, all those things that you would kind of take for granted on a day-to-day basis. But if we're on a high hazard day and whatnot, make sure you're ready to go. So the biggest thing is have a plan. Secondly, be familiar with your area. Just because you live on Avenue 37 doesn't mean that we're always going to evacuate you to the east. Sometimes
632 North Avenue 50.
Sometimes we might need to evacuate you in the opposite direction. So know your area, know your main thoroughfares, and practice them, drive them, see what your challenges might become. And then thirdly, if you're asked to leave, it's time to go. It's time to leave. Typically, LAPD is going to be driving and utilizing their PA system for us for the evacuations and letting you know where to go. But when you stay too long, or you decide that you want to be on top of your roof with a hose or something like that, it's not only a challenge for us because now we have one more person and life that we're trying to save and accommodate for, and it just trickles down and compounds depending on how many people would do something like that.
Harden your home. I guess that means make it more fire retardant. Is that sort of what you'd say?
Yeah, well, I'm going to refer that question to John. If you want, can you talk to us about hardening your home?
Houses where people have not taken the time to create defensible space, we're not going to take the time to try and save it, and it's also much more dangerous to try and save one that's totally surrounded by thick and heavy brush that hasn't been removed in 30, 40 years, although the chances of that situation are not really likely because our brush clearance unit will put you on a contract. It goes to a bid system, and they actually give a pretty fair price to the taxpayers when they come in and clean your brush and give you the bill.
One other thing I wanted to talk to you about is if you notice parking that's done illegally, or even somewhere where you know that we aren't going to be able to pass. It might be illegal parking, like my partners here said, but it's not going to be conducive to us being able to get by. Make sure you reach out to the Department of Transportation, DOT, and or maybe knocking on a door would really be helpful. We come up here, periodically throughout the day or weeks and whatnot, but we're not up here driving every single road, every single street in Mount Washington every day. So we have that shared responsibility. Please report that to the Department of Transportation so they can take care of those problems before the emergency happens.
Thank you so much for being here on Sunday morning, and also for protecting our community. I really personally appreciate it, and I know the neighbors think about you often. But I really am grateful for you coming out and and bringing your sexy vehicle with you up the street.
Well, we appreciate your concern. We appreciate you inviting us out, because that shared responsibility is so important, and we really do rely on the community doing their part as well. So, thank you.